Well, the Gazillion Bubbles show has returned to Kings Island, but it won't be long before it floats away. Hello, everybody. Alongside Don Helbig, I'm Ryan Sir, and this is Tower Topics.
Tower Topics is a podcast by Kings Island fans for Kings Island fans, because that's who we are, and that's who we care about.
Hey, let's kick this off by thanking our Prestige members. I want to give a special shout out to Miss Mandy, 1983, Lil Mac, 21, Brian Hauser, 330T, Logan Lipper, Aaron Bort, Jacob Fix, Damon Barnes, Stephen Hornack, Eric Grau, Ian Crawford, Dustin Jackson, Songstress Miku, Dakota Cole, Lack Gray, Galaxy B-Boy, and Medic 302. Thank you guys so much for supporting Tower Topics at the highest level. That's the Prestige level. If you want to be involved in Tower Topics, there's a link in the description. Members get early access to the content, exclusive videos, exclusive live streams, and some tiers you can get some free stuff. So hit that link in the description if you're interested.
So Ryan, Gazillion Bubbles. It's been a really popular show the past couple years.
Yeah. I want to go ahead and admit my mistake from last year where I saw a version at SeaWorld and thought it was stupid. And then I came here on the show and I was like, they made a big mistake. This is dumb. Begrudgingly went and saw it. And I was like, okay, I've got to admit that I was wrong, because not only did I enjoy it, the crowd was on fire for it. But it came back for 2025.
Yeah, it's a show. What I like about it, Ryan, is it appeals to guests of all ages. And you see, like, the parents are having a great time. You know, the young kids are having a great time. If there's, like, teenagers, young couples in there, they're having a great time. I think that's one of the things that, why the show, is so well received at the park and other places that has the Gazillion Bubble show. It's not exclusive to Kings Island. We've seen it at different places. You've seen it, at other parks. I've seen it at Dollywood. So, it's a show that no matter where it is, it works.
It's even on Broadway or so. I don't know about Broadway, but it's in New York City for like a full length show too. But as with great opportunities come to Kings Island, of course, there are missed opportunities. Let's just say it.
That's a nice way to put it.
Right.
They really, since this show was introduced last year, they've really done nothing, outside of, slapping a couple of, social media posts up to say that the Bubble show is beginning. Then maybe middle of the run or something, they might put another one up like, don't miss the Bubble show. And then another one that says, oh, it's going to end on, for this year, like July 6th, and it's got 4 or 5 pictures or something with it. But nothing really, there's been no storytelling about the Gazillion Bubble show. You're not taking your audience, your fans, behind the scenes of this show, which you could easily do. There's been no, having the guy that's doing the show. Why hasn't he the past couple years been on morning TV shows? Why haven't they come out to the park? And he's like doing demonstrations and just talking about how he got involved with the show. There's a fascinating story about it, but they've not done any kind of storytelling with that at all. It's just basically messaging for the show. So, there are things that, they could be doing. There are things that they should be doing.
Can you clarify a little bit, dig a little bit deeper into the storytelling versus messaging? Well, give us some examples of what they have that's messaging and what you would consider storytelling, just so if it comes back next year, they can do it right.
Well, messaging is just talking about, saying the Bubble show is now running through, July 6th. Don't miss it. Things like that. What you see on their pages right now. Storytelling would be having a video interviewing the guy doing the show, having him talking about what's involved with the show, how he became, part of the show. There's the different family tie-ins and that with it. It's not that they have several different people doing these shows at the different parks. So it'd be something like that where you're telling those stories. The storytelling would be bringing the media out and having them do like sit down interviews with the guy, him telling, about the show, doing a YouTube video about the show, so you'd want to do things like that. That's the storytelling on your blog, talking about it, just talking about, storytelling is past the surface stuff.
Mm-hmm.
that the show's not running here, and just kind of having a little brief description about the show. Go into more detail. What guests can expect when they see the show. What are things that guests enjoy most about the show? How does he make the bubbles? How did he learn to do the bubbles? Those kind of things that could be told. I think that fans of the show, it does have a following. I think they'd be interested in knowing more about Gazillion Bubbles, past that it only runs through July 6th.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be told why. Yeah, I mean, you have to make a connection with it, which is the behind the scenes and so on. But you have to be told why to care. If a show about bubbles ends in a week, like, okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, you can grow a little bit deeper. But
Yeah, yeah. If you do some of those videos and that, and like I said, take your audience behind the scenes. I mean, it's great content for your shared channels. It's great content for YouTube. It's great for the blog to tell those stories. It's an opportunity to pitch to the media. We have this show. Our guests love it. We can make them available for you if you want to come out in the morning. And they can demonstrate how they make the bubbles, how they got involved with this show. So there's all kinds of things that could be done, but have fallen into that category that you called missed opportunity.
right. So and back to the storytelling aspect when we're talking about. So you've got a one-to-one comparison here, with Dollywood. Dollywood has got Denny Young, who I think was the guy that did it at Kings Island last year. Denny Yang, sorry. It's his story and how he got involved. It's everything that you're discussing here. This is a news article about out of WVLT8. And it really does kind of like draw the empathy and stuff. But you also, I mean, the show itself, you don't even have to go behind the scenes technically. The show is incredibly visual. There's actually a video on Theme Parks by Dawn YouTube channel. We're going to play it for you. If you're watching on YouTube, congratulations, you're going to watch the video. If you're audio listener, just kick back for about 2 minutes. It's not going to be very interesting.
We've been here in Dollywood for so long, and it's almost felt like family for us. This is my first year here. My brother has been doing the show here. My dad did the show here. My mom did the show here. So because this is a family business and a family bubble business that we've been in, I think Dollywood has kind of opened their arms to us and made us feel like family too. The Bubble Show is a show that is for all ages I would say 2 to like 102. It's a show filled with interactive segments. So we bring the audiences on stage. Actually, the entire theater gets filled with bubbles, so everyone gets a chance to kind of break as many bubbles as they want. We create different forms of art using bubbles. We make square bubbles, smoke bubbles, bubbles inside bubbles, and when we bring the audience on stage, we put them inside bubbles too. And we have like different segments of each part of the show where we'll have a story included in it as well, and have a family on stage with us. So it's a lot of fun because everyone gets involved. It's the audience is our friend, and they're a part of the show too.
All right.
So those are the kind of like the interview. That'd be something that would be interesting for guests to see on the Kings Island channels about the show. That wouldn't, like I said, wouldn't be hard to do. So those are the kind of things I'm talking about, like with the storytelling. And I did on my blog last year. I did a story on the Dollywood bubble show. So that's something that, and I incorporated that video into it. But it's just something that the opportunity is there to do a little bit more storytelling with this show, and they just haven't done that.
Yeah, and you feel like you kind of know Melody Yang by the end of the video. I think that's a huge advantage as well. Because you start to personally connect with some of the people that are on stage, and it's a taste of what's to come, of course. But the reality is, you have to draw that emotional connection to want to be part of the entertainment. You're not.
And like last year, the blog that I did, I said Melody Yang and the Gazillion Bubbles show at Dollywood, and then I just kind of start out. I said this summer, Dollywood Celebrity Theater has welcomed back the enchanting Gazillion Bubble show, starring the talented Melody Yang. I said running through August 11th. This one-of-a-kind spectacle is a must-see for kids and parents alike. And then I have some quotes from her in the article. And it just kind of really tells her story a little bit with something like that. So I don't, to me, if I was Kings Island, I'd be trying to do, something like that and do a little bit more storytelling other than just the social post with a gazillion emojis, saying that, come see the Bubble Show. It ends July 6th.
And buy your Silver Pass.
Yeah, so that's just me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what I would, whenever I did PR, I always looked at the opportunity. Okay, here's who I have. What can we do with that? So whether it was Robbie Knievel, Nick Walinda, Rick Walinda, we had when we had the show Alonzo.
Oh, Ed Alonzo.
Ed Alonzo. Yeah, Ed Alonzo was another guy that we would have on the morning shows in Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, and that we would make sure that whether he was in studio or they came down to talk to him, that was opportunity that I saw to get the word out about the Ed Alonzo show more so than just being able to put it out there on our social channels. And that's what I would have done, if I was there with the Gazillion Bubbles. I would have seen that as a tremendous opportunity the past couple of summers to do some storytelling with that, both on our owned and shared channels, but also, with the traditional news media.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get the park apologists and shills that say, like, they don't need to promote it. It's got a packed house every show, which is the most. Thank God those people aren't running the roost over there. Maybe they are because they're not promoting it. But the thing is, it's not about getting people to go to the show. I mean, it is, but it's getting Kings Island in front of people. Maybe even buy a ticket to go see the Gazillion Bubble show. So it's not so much about we need an ass every 18 inches in there. Not about that. It's about getting that name out there, getting the recognition, and we haven't visited yet. We should buy our silver passes now. That's how you do it. You buy. You can market on the ability to draw people in, have that emotional connection, and tell the stories. You don't do it by having TikToks that don't appeal to anybody that can be in the park after 4:00 without a supervised companion. All right, it's just obviously that's just not working.
Yeah, I think when you look at, a park like Dollywood, when they have this opportunity, they take advantage of it, and they definitely, pitch it out to the different news media outlets. They pitch it out to the different bloggers. They do stuff on their own, shared channels, YouTube, with it. And I think that kind of tells you the difference in, the knowledge and the skill level, of the, what Dollywood has in the marketing, PR, digital marketing staff, and what you're seeing like at Kings Island, where like I go back to that word, it's just all about messaging all the time, and it has been for the past couple years. Anybody can do the messaging stuff, but the storytelling's missing, and that's something that it does hurt ticket sales, because you can say, the show sells out anyway, they don't need to do it. you're missing an opportunity to get people, like you mentioned, to hear the name Kings Island, inspire them to make a visit. Maybe they're going to buy a ticket because they think this show looks really cool. Let's go see it. But it's just, it goes back to that word you said. It's missed opportunity. Something that they could definitely, be using at a time when they certainly need to be selling some tickets.
Yeah, they could stand to sell some tickets this time. All right.
That's right.
Let's move on to some Tower Topics tidbits.
Okay, the Crypt Building is where the 2026 New Family Thrill Ride is expected to go. So last year we talked about using this building for a Vekoma Madhouse. You might remember that episode. I kind of pitched the idea of DC themed, which likely wouldn't happen, but it was still the Vekoma Madhouse idea that we had talked about on the show and that I had written a blog about. So is this what this is going to be this year? Or for next year, is it going to be a madhouse? Is that actually coming? I know one guest in particular that would just be super excited if they get a Vekoma Madhouse, but we'll have more to come in upcoming episodes, and be sure to follow us on X as we're getting, into closer to July 1st and, the middle of summer, and, things will start popping up here and there where we'll find more information about what exactly is going into the Crypt Building. Island Smokehouse. I've said it before and I'll say it again. That is where you'll find the best smoked wings in the greater Cincinnati area. I had a chance to have a meal there recently, and the wings, they still as good as they had been in previous years. So if you are a fan of chicken wings, especially smoked wings, make sure to get out to the Island Smokehouse in Soak City and try those smoked wings. You'll love them. And this weekend, where's all the time gone? Just flown by. This weekend will be your last chance to experience the Food and Wine Festival at Kings Island. It's going to be open from 4 to 9 p.m. Friday through Sunday.
Perfect. Let's move on to a segment we like to call Buy or Sell. Don, buy or sell? The next ride to be retired from Kings Island will be Whitewater Canyon. Buy or sell?
I'm going to sell. I mean, I can see reasons why Whitewater Canyon would be retired. It's 40 years old this year, not as popular as it was in the first half of the ride's history. People have, I guess, maybe gotten a little bit, past the stage where they want to be soaked all day, walking around with wet clothes. So people normally, if they're going to ride it, they tend to ride a little bit later in the day. You don't see people lined up. It doesn't open now until I think noon most days now, but you still don't see as many guests in the early part of the day wanting to get, drenched on that ride. So I could see a reason why, someone would have submitted this buy or sell to us and thinking that would be the next ride retired. But I don't think so. I think there's a couple other rides for sure that would come to mind before that would get retired. So I am going to sell.
Yeah, there are too many big candidates. Monster, Congo, the Bat. Yeah.
Vertigo.
I didn't want to say it.
Flight of Fear.
No.
Flight of Fear.
No. All right. Let's move on to some theme park headline news. Got a graphic for this one, Don.
You do.
Experience color and motion as Kentucky Kingdom celebrates the transition from spring to summer in Louisville. Kentucky Kingdom's Floral Frenzy Festival commemorates the boldness of color with a larger-than-life mosaic culture and 4 live flower walls. Capture picture-perfect moments under our colorful canopy and hear rich sounds as live music fills the air. Plus, participate in our interactive special events throughout. Celebrate the fun of the season with all your senses. The event runs through June 29th. Lots of exciting stuff going on in Kentucky Kingdom nowadays.
There is. I have a season pass, have yet to use it. I need to get there, hoping to get there soon. Just very excited about, the growth of that park over the last couple years. And just, really hearing nothing but positive waves, coming out of Kentucky Kingdom from the guests that have been there this year.
Yeah. We'll be right back with the listener questions. First listener question, Michael from Louisville, Kentucky. I was wondering how the decision for the songs in Mystic Timbers came about. Also, are the songs and endings determined at random, or is there a certain number of times the tree shows up per day? The tree seems to be the hardest to get. My favorite combo is the tree and man eater.
Well, it's set up in a like rotation, so the one song might play the one time, then the next train's going to get the next song, the next train's going to get the next song, the next one's going to get the next song, then it kind of cycles back to the beginning again. Same thing with the other things, whether you're going to get the tree, the snake, so it's just the sequence. If you stayed on the same train, you're going to get, if you stay on the same, you might, that's one of the things like what's in the shed. You're never going to see the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you're going to get with it, but it is sequence set. So it's just random on, what train you're on and when you go through it on what you're going to get.
I believe at the end, like the snake and the bats are 40% of the time, and then the tree is 20% of the time. It's something like that. The tree is, you're not crazy.
The tree's the less of all of them, but it is it's set up on a rotation thing, like how many times you're going to get this, how many times you're going to get that. So yeah, I mean, it's just just luck of the draw, I guess, whatever you're going to get when you go through there.
Yeah. Cool. Steven sorry, did you have another thought?
Yeah, I did. The song selection, though, it was, basically picking songs that were popular in that era to where that revolved around the theming of when this was to take place.
1983, I believe.
Right, 1983.
Cool. Stephen from Charlotte, North Carolina said, hey, 2 questions. First, I was at Six Flags Darien Lake this past weekend and noticed that they serve Pepsi. I purchased a drink bottle because of that. I am no fan of Coke. Is this a test market or something? Second question. I stopped at Darien Lake after going to La Ronde, and they have ads for International Fireworks Festival. Have you ever been? I'm thinking of going back for those fireworks on the 4th of July. Love the show.
Well, as far as Pepsi's concerned, being at Darien Lake, that's an easy answer. It's a binding contract, that they have. So I don't know how many years that may have left to run, but that's the reason why that is still a Pepsi park. But I've not experienced that festival that you're talking about. It looks good. It looks like it'd be worth trying out. Going there to experience it, but I've not experienced it. Have you, Ryan?
No, I have not. The fireworks festival at La Ronde, but I am familiar with it because I work for Rosie's, and Rosie's participates in that. I will tell you, if you're into fireworks, that's the place to be, because that is going to be big, complex, experimental, everything that you want in a fireworks show. They're going to have, and they've got like 3 or 4 countries, and they all participate. So it's like 4 10-minute fireworks shows. It's really something to see. So yeah, check it out, and if you do, let us know what you think of it. All right, Kevin from Ohio said, why is it so hard to keep the soft drink machines filled with ice at Kings Island? Lately, finding one that actually has ice feels like winning a golden ticket, like I should be getting behind the scenes tour of the beast as a reward. Little things like that are starting to sour the experience for me. No ice, out of beverage of choice. What was that offer again to save money at Holiday World tickets? That's holidayworld.com/save, promo code Dawn.
Yep, that's where you'll save on tickets to Holiday World. Yeah, if you're going to plan a visit, certainly take advantage of that offer. But yeah, I mean, that's a question a lot of people, are asking Kevin is why is that so hard? It shouldn't seem that hard to keep the ice machines, filled, or the soda products, filled. I know there's been a lot of disappointment that your beverage of choice is out, or maybe the syrup and that it's off, and how I don't know. I mean, it's just, it's not been a good experience, for those that, when you go to Kings Island and you're looking to get a soft drink.
Yeah. I wish I could play devil's advocate, but the truth is, Holiday World has a constant run of people going up there, filling up their drinks, and, no wristbands or anything. So it's definitely,
well, there's a commitment. I mean, that's the thing. Like, they would look at that as something that if we can't do this right, let's not do it.
Mm-hmm.
So they've made a commitment to do it right. That's the way they are with a lot of things there. If we can't open the park and have everything running, let's not be open at that time, of the year. So, that's a park that puts a lot of thought into the guest experience. That's very important to them. They want to provide. There's a reason that they keep getting nominated and winning awards as a best value park out there in the industry. And Kings Island does not win those. So you have to make the commitment to excellence, and you have to want to make sure that those little things, those little pet peeves that guests are experiencing this year aren't happening. And that's going to be one of the challenges that new park manager Tony Carvellano is going to have to square with, and kind of figure it out. And I think he's the guy that will figure it out.
I sure hope so, and I hope they give them the tools necessary. I hate that you put the bug in their ear of, oh, if we can't do it right, we shouldn't do it at all, because now you're going to have Kings Island making the excuse of, we love being open till midnight for Haunt, but we just couldn't staff it after 10 o'clock, so we're just going to close at 10. Because if you can't do it right, you can't do it at all. Yeah, I feel like it's like having a kid and giving them the excuse that they're about to give you for getting a bad grade.
No, but Kevin, I really feel good about Tony being the park manager. I think he's a guy that he cares about the park. He cares about the history. He cares about making sure guests have the right experience. If somebody has a bad experience, he wants to find out why. If he definitely might not like everything that he sees on social media, or maybe that we've talked about on this podcast, but he's also a guy that wouldn't get upset about it. He would be like, okay, let's look at this. If this is a legitimate issue, how can we fix it? How can we make it better? That's the kind of guy that, during my experience, either, working with Tony, and then, I knew him years before I started working there. I remember when he started working on the train, back in 1985. So everything that I've ever seen about Tony is, a commitment to trying to do it right. And I feel that the park is in the right hands, based on the situation in right now. He's probably the right guy, to put in that park manager role to kind of steer the ship right now.
Yeah. Don, tell them about the t-shirts.
Tower Topics t-shirts are available, whatever size you may need. They come in a wicked green color, and comes with free shipping. Again, just $22. If you're interested in one, send us a email. You can send it to my blog email, which is themeparksbydon.com, or Don Helbig at themeparksbydon.com. And then you can also send us a direct message to our X, which is Tower_Topics. We certainly hope, if you go that route, that you will give us a follow. If you're doing it either way, make sure that you send your mailing address. You want to make sure that you let us know what size shirts you want, and then we'll send you the QR code once the transaction goes through. It's just a matter of days before you get your shirt. And then we also have a new product recently introduced that's been immensely popular so far with our listeners, which is stickers. They're a vinyl sticker, and the size and the pricing is going to also include the shipping here. So we got a 4.5 inch by 3 inch. Those are $5 each. Now these are what would be great for like tumblers and mugs and water bottles. And then we've got a 6.5 inch by 4 inch, $7 each. These are perfect for like car windows. So, if you're interested in a t-shirt, you're interested in a sticker, that's, the address again is Don Helbig at themeparksbydon.com, or go to our X, Tower_Topics, and we'll send you that QR code, and we'll get these products out to you quickly.
Perfect. I'm Ryan Sir, along with Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.